Hello everybody. Jumington here. They will probably be the final episode of season 1, I guess, of Jumcraft. I really wanted to get this done before the 1.0 release, but I failed. So, sorry. At this point, I just want to show off a few more things, talk about some minecart tracks, pistons, redstone stuff real quick. Just kind of go over what remained that I haven't shown you that kind of exists out there in the world. And then I'm going to retire this world, and I'm going to start a new one for Season 2, which hopefully I can start filming that today. One thing I've learned is that I really should not say, I'm going to have some episodes up by such and such time, because I've been having a real problem sitting down and working on these lately. I got my dog, and he's been depressed lately, so I have to spend more time with him. I got a job, and believe it or not, I do have a social life. So a lot of things have been coming up that kind of pull me away from this. But I really want to keep at this, so I'm going to say here, and hope I can stick with it for the next season. I really want to try and get more of a schedule down and get like Wednesday, Friday updates. Get something new up every Wednesday and Friday. Still kind of playing around with the format, what exactly I'm going to be doing. Probably just watching me play. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Right now I'm in my tiny little room with a big old box of crap. So let's check it out. See, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here and a whole bunch of things to go over. So let's just let's start with these music discs. Managed to find one of these, this one, in a dungeon chest, and I got this one when I kind of completely inadvertently got a skeleton to kill a creeper. And those are the two ways you get these. Now there's several more discs that exist in the game, but you currently cannot attain them without either using inventory hacks or playing in creative. In creative mode, you can just give yourself whatever you want, so you can grab all that stuff. But otherwise, they're not currently available. So these are the only two you can get legitimately in the survival mode of play. And to play these, we will need some diamond and wood. And we're going to need to make a record player. Pop one diamond in there. It's pretty much the same pattern as a box, as a chest, just with a diamond in the middle, and you make a jukebox. So I'll just put this jukebox right over here. Grab some records. And just right click. That's that one, which is cat. And it's 13. This is my favorite. Kind of spooky. Other things you can make with diamonds, obviously you can make tools. I've made my diamond pickaxe. Make myself a diamond sword. If I can get some sticks first. Yeah, look at that. It's like a lightsaber. Ah. What else we got? Dyes. Remember I talked earlier about the cocoa beans and how you can use those to make dye. Same for lapis lazuli. You also have several other colors, and I think the only thing I'm missing here is cactus. I haven't really gone off to a desert area yet. So let's just fill up our inventory with this stuff. Most of the stuff, like the cocoa beans, lapis lazuli, you don't have to craft it into anything to make it a dye. It is itself already a dye. And you can combine it with a wool block or use it directly on a sheep by loading it up and right-clicking on the sheep. And you'll get colored wool. And using it on a sheep is a lot more efficient because you generally will get more than one piece of wool off of a sheep. And I believe I read that in the 1.0, and I think I'm playing Release Candidate 2 right now, I should mention. I think also in this one that if you breed sheep that are colored, there is a chance you'll get colored offspring. So that's even better, because then all you need is wool, and once you get the original color down, you can keep making more. So There's quite a variety of colors that you can make, and you see that makes the rose red. These are flowers. Flowers you'll find they grow sporadically throughout the world. They're only generated in the initial generation of the world, but you can grow more. So don't be afraid to pick them up, because you can just take these bones at Skeleton's shop and use them for bone meal. Bone meal is really useful and really cool. You can throw bone meal down on wheat or pumpkin seeds or melon seeds and make them grow instantly. Trees too. You can make them grow pretty much instantly. Trees are a little bit iffy because of the way the tree growth mechanic works. You might not always get a tree growth depending on how much height, because when trees grow it checks to see, like picks a height that it wants to grow, checks to see if it can grow that height. If it can't, it starts the timer over again. So sometimes you won't get instant tree growth out of that, but you can definitely speed it up. And you can also use this to lighten dyes. So you can take this and make a light blue dye. You can take, there's no light brown. You take this and make a pink dye. No bright yellow. You can make a gray dye, and you can actually lighten that gray dye to a lighter gray. And then there's green and light green. You can combine different colors to make different types of dyes. I'm not any kind of wizard with this stuff. There's orange. Yes. So that's useful for like pixel art, if you want to make some pixel art with colored wool, decorative stuff, if you want to put some carpeting down in your house. I see a lot of people use it for the circuit end of redstone creations to help delineate different circuit paths and keep things separated, and that's a really cool use for it. So that is dyes. And this is an ink sac. You get ink sacs from squid. The other thing you can do with the cocoa beans is make chocolate chip cookies, and I think this is the formula. Yep. Delicious chocolate chip cookies. Num 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 num. So you've got all this iron, you got all this gold, and you want to move stuff around. And you can see I've already got one here, a minecart. We roll that around. You're going to need a minecart track. Which make it like that. Take 6 iron, 1 wood. You get 16 rails. You can also find these in the abandoned mine shafts. So if you happen to find one of those and start digging up the rails, it saves you a lot of iron if you're doing a lot of minecart stuff. But minecarts don't move very effectively just along the regular track. You have to have them roll downhill a lot, and they can get stuck. So they've added powered minecart tracks, which you make like this. Take 6 gold, 1 wood, and 1 redstone, and you only get 6 powered rails. Yeah, you're going to need a lot of these if you're doing a lot of stuff with minecarts. So gold actually has a really good use now beyond just making the clock to show you the time of day. There's a couple different things you can do to create power to run along the redstone circuits, which is the dust that you place down on the ground, and this becomes like a circuit trace that power can run down. So there's a couple different devices you can use to create power. You have a stone pressure plate. I'm going to do one of those. Wooden pressure plate. Basically the same function, a little bit different. You take a stick and a piece of cobblestone, make yourself a lever, or lever, as your preference is. You can take 2 stone, stacked thusly, and make a button. And button and lever are about the same thing, except buttons are momentary, so it provides power for a couple seconds and then shuts off. A lever is an on-off device. There's also a difference in how you can place them. You can only place buttons on the sides of blocks, but a lever can be placed on the top, the sides. You can also make redstone torches, which is the same formula as a regular torch, just with redstone instead of coal. And these will provide power to circuits. They also do a lot of other things. There's a lot of specific ways you can set those up to power things, act as inverters, extenders. A lot of neat stuff there. So let me see. I think it's one of these. There we go. Okay, so 6 iron ingots, 1 stone pressure plate, has to be stone, and 1 redstone will make you detector rails. And this is a switch that will trigger when a minecart rolls over it. So you can use that to set up a track that has a trigger as you roll down. It can shift you on tracks. It can set off other devices. Cool stuff. And we're going to make an enchanting table. Now, that's not something I've talked about much. And there we go. This enchantment table. Oh, I got an achievement. I am an enchanter. Enchanter. This is what you use your experience for. See, I've got 20 levels now of experience, and you can use that to enchant weapons and tools to give them some extra enhancements. So that is what that is for. That obsidian is kind of a pain to get. How you get obsidian is to run water over lava source blocks, and that'll create obsidian. You'll need a diamond pick to break the obsidian, and it still takes an annoying bit of time to break it, so it can be kind of a pain in the ass to pick that up. But it'll be worth it for a lot of the neat stuff you can get with enchantment. I don't think I have enough levels to show you much of anything with that. I'll definitely enchant something and show you the kind of basics of what's going on with that. It's really a weird system, but there's a lot of cool things you can get with that. And then finally, I've got several more. Make a really cool device, which is a piston. Some of that. Okay, so you got 3 wooden planks, 4 cobblestone, 1 iron ingot, and 1 redstone, and this will make a piston. And what pistons do is they are devices you power with redstone, and it will push blocks. And there's a second type of piston, which you need the slime balls that you get from killing slimes. Combine that with that, and you get a sticky piston. And the sticky piston will push and pull blocks, so it'll kind of stick onto the block that it touches and move it back and forth. There's a lot of really crazy things you can do with that stuff. Like this, for instance. I'm trapped in my dinky little room here. Just put this button on the wall, and I got a door. And I'm just going to break this open here and show you what is going on. So I got this little room here, and some redstone going down along from both sides that connects to these 2 sticky pistons that are attached to these blocks. And so when I push this button, it will pull them out of the way. It's momentary, so as soon as the power shuts off, it goes back. Yeah, I could spend hours going over this. There are so many tutorials out there. There's so much information about this. Even just trying to get into the basics of it could take forever. I will try to give you some kind of overview of that. But definitely there's a lot better tutorials than I think that I could put together on the different things you can make with redstone out there. So I recommend, if you're interested in it, check it out. A lot of people are intimidated by this. I know a lot of people that play that never do anything with redstone. They get confused by it. They're not sure what to do. You really just got to play around with it. Now the good thing is that the newer versions of Minecraft have the creative mode that you can start a game in. In creative mode, you can give yourself all of this stuff, all the redstone you want. You don't have to go mine for it. And that is really, really handy if you just want to play around with redstone and figure out the ins and outs of it without having to dig up a huge mine or use up resources that it took forever for you to get. I highly recommend that. If you are interested in redstone, start up a new world in creative, give yourself a bunch of redstone stuff, and just play around with it. I've got this redstone torch, and when you apply power to a block that has a redstone torch on it, the redstone torch turns off. And this is also just a block with a redstone torch on it, like this. It's commonly referred to as an inverter. So what this does is, if you have power, if you have an on signal going into an inverter, it becomes an off signal. And if you turn this power off, that goes on. This is also useful because the redstone dust has a limit. It can only carry charge up to 15 blocks away. And if you use one of these, it will extend it. There's another way to extend it, which is this thing, which is a redstone repeater. This will extend it without inverting the signal, and this will also let you add a delay, because the inverters add a 1 tick delay. I think 1 tick is 1/10, 1/100th of a second. Maybe I want to say it's 1/10 of a second. It'll add a delay to the signal line. So this has an actual settable delay. So you can right click on that and adjust the delay to change the timing. So let's get out this room here. And nicely little concealed room. Obviously the button's pretty visible. There's different things you can use to hide that. So So I've got a whole bunch of crap set up out here to run through this, and I'm going to try and be brief about this because I really just want to get like the basic of this out of the way without like overloading you. And I really just want to finish out this world so I can get started on a new world for the new season. So let's get down to it. So I've got a minecart track here, simple track, and we'll just drop this minecart. Minecarts can only be dropped on the minecart rails, so you can't just drop it anywhere. You got to drop it on a rail. And you can see it's not doing anything. It's not going anywhere. But if you get a little bit of momentum, you can push it yourself. It'll go for a while. So what you can do is you can just push this a little bit, get in, and yeah, this isn't going to carry very far. I'm amazed I even got up that hill. And they will move differently if they're empty, if they have you in it, if there is an animal in it. You can actually shove animals. You can shove any of the mobs, animals, creepers, skeletons, whatever you want into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make some of this power rail. I'm just going to put this down here, and this will power this. And the way these work is it will apply speed or momentum, whatever you want to call it, to the cart and just keep it going in the direction that it hits on. If this is unpowered, this acts like a brake. So if I push this onto there, it just stops. That's a brake. And if I power this straight up in this setup, it's not going to go anywhere. I give it a push through it, it'll pick up some speed and push it along. There are some tricks to it. If you place the block down like that, just break this down. Place it on a block like that where there's nowhere for it to go. It ends in a specific block here, and then you power it. It'll push it away from the block. So that's cool for making a starting mechanism for it. So I'm going to put this after rail down here. And this connects up to that circuit down there, which open those doors. Put some more power rails here, try and keep this thing rolling. I have no plan here for this, really. I'm just kind of going it off the cuff. Okay, so we got all that powered. Got my cart. And let's just go for a little spin. Wee-haw! I don't know what that song is. Yeah, so see, this pretty effectively keeps me rolling. So yeah, they work pretty well. You can see it's not going with the same kind of speed and carrying as much momentum as it did when I was in there. I will need this, and I will need this, because there are two other types of carts that you can make. You can make a minecart with a chest and a minecart with a furnace. And I guess I should show you how to make a minecart. 5 iron ingots will make you a minecart. And that is the same pattern to make a boat, which will travel on the water. Minecart with a chest just acts like a chest on wheels, and that can be useful if you've got like a big mine going and you build a minecart track going down to it. You can actually cart stuff back up out of it. This delightful creation, which I will place here, it's kind of like a powered steam engine, but it's not super powerful. I know in previous updates it could kind of push you around, but it couldn't push you like up slopes very well. It's hard to control. Basically, you just drop fuel in it, coal, wood, whatever, and whatever direction that you're facing, whatever would be like the, front of it, if you put it in the back, is where it will go. So I'll drop a piece of coal in this, and it will steam along. And it's out run out of track. You can see that it's still steaming, but I've run on a track here, so it's nowhere for it to go. So goodbye. And when you break those down, it doesn't break down into that same device. It breaks down into the composite parts. And I'll just drop this down. You can see you just got a chest, and that rolls along. Pretty neat. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with that. I will leave that for you to decide. Minecart tracks are kind of fishy, and they're one of the things that have a lot of little tricks to them that rely on your cardinal directions. And this used to be how you would find north with the L here, but they've changed those around, so this no longer points north. This actually points west now. But you can still use this to find cardinal directions, find north. I mean, it's still useful. Just remember this points west, so this would be north, east, and south. I've made a little compass in the wall here because the side texture is the same thing. This L at the side actually points north. That would be south, ahead would be west, and back would be east. And how this becomes important is when you're placing tracks down. Now, I'm going to try not to confuse you. I'm confused myself because they changed this. They changed the direction, so some of this is different. When you place minecart tracks, they favor the north-south, which used to be east-west. So you see it favors pointing that direction. And when you connect them, so I'm going to put a piece down here, and when you put tracks like that, it automatically curves to connect them. So you can see I've got a couple different choices for how it'll curve, but it will prefer to connect up that way. So whichever way I put down in here, it favors this connection, which is the north to east connection. It used to be like south and west, and yeah, it's all different now. It's all confusing. But if you have carts rolling into that, it will jump the track onto the curved section. But which direction it goes also relies on that. So you've got this horrible trap set up here. I'm going to risk my life, and I'm going to roll forward on this cart, and it's going to jump onto this track, and it could go either way. It could take me into Lava Doom, or it could take me to Nowhere Town. Where do you think it's going to go? Yeah, I'm not a complete idiot. It spoke too soon. So when it comes to a T intersection, the minecart will always favor the two directions, which are currently east or north. So if you put a cart on this track and roll it, it'll always favor that way. So that is they're useful things to know if you're building elaborate minecart setups. So what I've got is a whole mess of redstone here connecting to doors. That's an iron door. An iron door is built the same way as a wooden door. The difference between a wooden door and an iron door, so a wooden door you can open by clicking on it. An iron door you cannot. An iron door you have to have some sort of redstone setup to open it. So I've got going to these are pressure plates, and these are all wired up together, so they all kind of do the same thing. I don't think these blocks are... Oh, they will connect. Yeah, redstone can be kind of iffy, and there's some inconsistencies to it, so it can get complicated. It's all wired up so that all these will control the same thing. So here's your differences. Lever is an on-off switch. Stays on, stays off. Pressure pads, sorry, are momentary switches. You walk on it, and it'll stay on as long as you're on it. It'll turn off when you go off. The difference between the wooden pressure plate and the stone pressure plate, so wooden pressure plate will trigger if anything falls on it. So if you drop something on it, that will trigger. The stone pressure plate will only trigger if you or a mob are on it. Now, before they added these detector rails, there used to be tricks you could do to put stone pressure plates on certain ends of corners, and the cart would kind of clip over it when you were in it. And then we just have a button, which again is momentary. And so I hit this, it transfers power to this redstone, which goes through all of that. Yeah. Now, remember earlier I said there was a limit, so let's push this cart over this detector rail here. And you'll see only that one door opens because this exceeds the 15 length limit. And that is where our repeaters come in. So repeaters will repeat the signal. And so placing it there extends the signal out so that it's now counting 15 from here and moves far enough to connect. And you can set a delay on it. which can be useful for a variety of things. These also act as a diode, if you're familiar with electronics at all. Basically all that means is it will only allow a signal to travel in one direction. Right, so I place it like this, the signal can travel through that, and you can already see I've got that one tick delay that kind of keeps it on a little bit longer. However, if I travel on onto this plate, the signal does not travel backwards through it. And that card is causing me chaos. Yes. So, useful stuff. Now, you got all this cool stuff, and aside from that nifty little door I built back there, well, what kind of stuff can you make with this? Well, I've got something over here that relies on a couple different principles. It's not really my idea, I know other people have made this, but it's still really cool. And I'm going to flip this switch on back here, and this just keeps the circuit from getting crazy if I close out the game and then reopen it. And what this is a self-regenerating wall. So I'm going to break these blocks out here. And it regenerates the wall. Not super fast. Single player it's useful as a kind of defense against Endermen. Because the Enderman will come and pull a block out and automatically fix it. Normally you would have this lava covered, but if you want some extra protection you can just leave that lava moat there. Let me flip this off. Break some of this down. Turn it back on. I can take you down there and let you see what's happening. So I got these pistons down here. What happens is this water will flow and meet with the lava flow on this piston block, and it will create cobblestone where the two meet. And then the piston will push that cobblestone up. Now the piston doesn't know if there's cobblestone on there or not really, it's just on a timer. It's a simple timing circuit. Power comes out of the inverter block here, goes through these, travels down to the pistons at the same time, travels back into the inverter block, which shuts it off, and it just loops around like that. By setting this delay on it, you can make a pretty effective little clock here. There's a lot more effective clocks, a lot of clocks with more variability. There is a lot. If there's anything you can do with redstone, there's probably several ways you can do it. And this is just one of them. Now, pistons have a limited number of blocks they can push. They can only push up to 12 blocks, since the ceiling is has several blocks above it. Once this hits the top, it'll automatically stop. Otherwise, if this was the open air, this would automatically stop once it had created 12 cobblestone blocks over it. So that is an extremely brief, limited introduction to redstone. Really, the last thing I can add, just in terms of laying it out, your basic mechanics of it. Travel in that straight line, it kind of automatically snaps to things, and you have to be careful with that, because some things will require redstone to actually connect to it, and if you try and curve through, it's no longer connecting to that, it's curved around. It kind of varies on a case-by-case basis. You can find yourself with weird loops like this, so it can be tricky. It can take some practice to get down how to do that. The redstone will travel up over blocks, but in this situation, if you have signal traveling through that and you place a block there, you can see it's no longer connecting. It cuts it off, so you have to have that space free. Yeah, that's a really, really limited intro to this. There's a lot more, but I'm trying to be brief. I can talk about this more. There's lots of tutorials out there. Go check them out. But not right now. So let's talk about this enchanting. I built a not-so-secret hidden room down this way with more pistons. And I'm just going to drop this cool thing down here. I've got it in this room that is completely surrounded by bookcases, because it'll actually make your enchanting table more powerful. I think this is the right configuration. I'm not sure. There's like a specific setup that gives it the best powers. But you can see it pulling all of the info from these books, which is really neat. The book follows you around, which is a creepy, man. It's some sort of Necronomicon thing. And then it will close if you get far enough away and just sit there and spin. Pretty cool. So I got 20 experience. I got some stuff to that I can enchant, so let's check out. Right click it and see what I can enchant. I want to enchant my diamond sword. And you can see you have no idea what you're going to get. It's pretty random. There's a lot of crazy math going on with it. Again, better explanations than what I could offer exist out there on the internet, on YouTube. If you really want to know, check it out. All I can say basics wise is the more levels you have, the better. Spend all the levels you have when you have them, and yeah, hope for the best. There's lots of different enchantments. So let's check out diamond pick, and I'm just going to use all 20 on this. No idea what's going to give me. Okay, I've got efficiency 2 on unbreaking 3, so that's pretty cool. Efficiency will let you break blocks faster. Unbreaking will let the tool last longer. I don't think it's actually unbreaking, like it will never break. It just has a lot more uses than normal. So let's just swing some blocks up here. So yeah, that's pretty quick. I think that's what efficiency does anyway. I forget. There's lots of different things. Silk Touch is a really cool one. If you have a tool with Silk Touch on it, you can pick up blocks that you normally would not be able to pick up, like redstone ore you could get as redstone ore instead of just getting the dust, and for coal ore, same for any of the ores. When they originally added, you could pick up the dungeon spawner blocks, but it's, the way it's written in the game is if you get a dungeon spawner block, if you place it, it just becomes a pig spawner. But that's still cool because you need that meat to live, but they've since fixed that and you can't pick up the dungeon spawner blocks anymore. But that's a kind of a neat setup, neat things you can do with that. There's efficiency, there's fortune, which has a chance of dropping more ore than you would normally get when you break ores up. For the weapons, there's things that will make the damage do more damage. They'll give it a knockback effect. That'll increase the damage on criticals or increase the chance of criticals. That will do more damage to, I think, spiders. There's one for undead. There's a lot of different stuff. You can enchant armor, you can enchant weapons, you can enchant tools. Okay, so remember earlier I was talking about obsidian. This is obsidian, which is what you get when a source block of lava meets water. Otherwise, if it's just the flow off of lava meeting water, you will get cobblestone or smooth stone depending on what directions they meet. Generally, you'll get cobblestone. And you can see, even with this, it takes a bit of time to break. And there you go. And so it can kind of suck if you're working with this. If you misplace it, be careful. So I've got several blocks here, and what I'm going to build is a portal. You can see I've run out of blocks. Now I could sit here and make that and break it and keep doing that over and over again. I don't want to do that. There's an easier way. There's a better way. That is just to kind of mold the stuff in place. I'm just going to put it like so, just to keep it from spilling everywhere. And there you go. This has a specific pattern to it. Basically what you want is a 2 wide, 3 tall doorway out of this. You're making a frame with the obsidian. You may be wondering what is this for. You'll find out in just a moment. You don't actually need these corner pieces. I just think it looks cooler with it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish making this. So, you know, bear with me here. Okay. Shabams. Alright. Don't need all that, but I will need this. Put my bow down in here. It's about to get dangerous. So what I have built here is a portal to the Nether, which is a hellish realm of lava and zombie pigmen and other terrible things. But it's a cool place with lots of cool stuff. And to get this started, you light that up. Yeah, isn't that a little bit creepy? Well, let's say goodbye, step into the portal, and be whisked away on a magical journey.